Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of RPGs with Paddy. I'm Paddy. Today, I'm here to tell you about a great short-time deal on cosmic horror supplements. If you head over to DriveThru RPG, the link will be below. You'll see their cosmic horror sale. As you all know, this is a real passion area of mine, so you know that there's a lot that I'm going to recommend. And there's great stuff here as well. I think there's about a total of 3,000 items on sale, and about 2,500 of those are in English as well. I think everything is 25% off, but there might be some small variances there. The sale will last for about another 2 weeks, so until the end of August.
Okay, so if you head over to DriveThru RPG, you can see here there is a comic horror sale button. They might also have a big banner up here that you can click on, and you just go in here and you'll see all of the great deals. There's the banner. So today I'm just going to focus on a few publishers that I can talk about with a bit more confidence. So the first one is going to be although that's a Cosmic Horror sale. The first one is going to be Arc Dream Publishing, and we're going to focus on Delta Green. Delta Green is an excellent but very dark and grim RPG that grew out of Call of Cthulhu. It's modern Call of Cthulhu, but you are all secret federal agents of some sort trying to contain the mythos. As I said before, it is super grim, so your characters know about the mythos, or soon will, and your biggest goal is containing it to ensure that the general public is spared the knowledge of the mythos, even if it just gives them one more day of peaceful ignorance. You have to hide all of this from your family and those close to you, and it will cause rifts between you and them. In this sale, you can get all of the core books. So this is the collection of the two core rule books right here, or you can get them separately as the Agent's Handbook and the Handler's Guide. So you should start with the Agent's Handbook and then move on to the Handler's Guide, or you can buy them both together here. Buying them separately, I believe, will save you 1 cent, if I've done my maths correctly. You can also get collections of adventures. So there are three here. A Night at the Opera has 6 scenarios, I believe. Control Group has 4 scenarios. And Black Sites has 6 or 7. I can't quite remember. Control Group only has 4, but these are meant for introducing players to Delta Green, and they have a wide variety of completely different scenarios and settings here. There are also some longer campaigns, such as Impossible Landscapes here, which by the cover you might be able to tell is based on The King in Yellow. There is another one over here called Iconoclasts, which is set in 2016, 2017, where you will go up against, or at least the start is that you will go up against the Islamic State. I haven't had a chance to go through either of these campaigns, these longer campaigns, in great detail yet, but I have heard great things about both of them, and someone commented that they felt Iconoclast is a better campaign than Masks of Nyarlathotep for Call of Cthulhu. I'm not sure if I can believe that, but it's very high praise. Apart from those collections and those campaigns, there are also individual scenarios that you can get here. I would just say be careful because a lot of these individual scenarios are included in the collections that I mentioned there, A Night at the Opera, Control Group, and Black Sites. So if you're interested in, for example, A Victim of the Art, I believe that is in, it's in one of those anyway. But just click on these links and you can get a list of them. It might save you a bit of money if you want to buy the collection instead. Finally, for Delta Green, there are also some fiction stories, collections of short stories mostly, talking about various Delta Green missions. So Extraordinary Renditions is here. But if you're looking for some more, it won't be under Arc Dream Publishing, it will actually be under Pagan Publishing, which is the original company that released Delta Green. So you can check them out here as well. The stories are so varied in content and setting, but generally the quality is very high in my opinion. For Free League Publishing, there is mostly the Alien RPG here. I haven't played it at all yet, but I do know that Free League Publishing put out excellent, excellent supplements. So if you are interested in the Alien universe, the movies, the franchise, and you're interested in an RPG based on that, then I would guess that this is very high quality. Personally, as I said, I'm not super familiar with the movie franchise. I've watched the movies, but I'm not a diehard fan. But the mystery for me was always about not knowing much about the alien. So I don't know how long lasting a campaign of this could be, but it could be very good for horrific one shots as well. Moving on to Pelgrane Press. I have spoken about them a lot in the past, and the most notable one that they have here for Cosmic Horror would, of course, be Trail of Cthulhu. This is a rules light mythos game, and most of the scenarios and campaigns can easily be switched over to the Call of Cthulhu rule set, and similarly, the Call of Cthulhu scenarios can fairly easily be switched over to the Trail of Cthulhu rule set. So even if you're not planning on running a game of Trail of Cthulhu, you can get some great ideas and background here to use in your Call of Cthulhu games or other cosmic horror games as well. I think the supplements, Hideous Creatures, there are several of them down here, for example, about ghouls, about the great race of Yith, are fantastic supplements and give you a lot of background information and ideas about how to run the different creatures. And again, this is very transferable. There's a little bit of talk about mechanics in using them for Trail of Cthulhu, but it can easily be adapted to anything else. If you're looking just for one specific creature, yeah, you can buy them here. But I would recommend buying the collection Hideous Creatures up here at the top. Really good if you want to know a little bit more about different creatures you can bring in and how to run them effectively. And there's not only just this is the one way to do it, but there are different ideas for how different appearances of the creatures might act. So definitely high on my list of recommendations. If you are looking at getting into Trail of Cthulhu, all you need is this single core rulebook here, which is the second one down at the moment. And it has a lot of information. And again, most of this information can be used for any kind of cosmic horror game, or even a lot of just detective games as well. So Pelgrane Press doing an excellent job. Looking a bit more into it, you can see there are some supplements like the Bookhounds of London here, which I happen to have with me today as well. So that's a lucky break, which is setting up your investigators as book dealers or bookhounds, if you will, in London. So this gives you information about the different aspects of book collecting, such as, secret occult, missing rare tomes and stuff like that. And it gives you details about how to handle bidding, finding things. You have some rivals, and there are some scenarios in there as well. Similarly, one that I've mentioned before a few times in this channel is Dreamhounds of Paris, which takes the surrealist artists and imagines if they can connect to the dreamlands. There are a few things here as well. So this is Dreamhounds of Paris standalone, but sometimes you'll see with Trail of Cthulhu that they come in bundles, and this has a separate supplement called the Book of Ants. So the Book of Ants is going to give you a little bit of information into Paris of the 20s and 30s and into the Dreamlands. You think it looks like a small little supplement, but actually it's 184 pages. I haven't read this one yet, but other books that they've done similar would be like the Book of Smoke or the Book of the New Jerusalem. Again, relatively long. I think the Book of the New Jerusalem is over 200 pages. But just this description here, it gives you context, rumors, clues, um, can be used as a companion volume to Bookhounds of London. It can be a keeper resource, an in-game artifact for any Mythos game. So if you have the chance, or if you're interested, I do recommend these extra books. As I said, I haven't actually read the Book of Ants yet, but their other books are great as well. If you're looking for a selection of scenarios to play with Trail of Cthulhu, there is Out of Space, which of course deals with spacefaring creatures, Out of Time, which deals with different kinds of time related scenarios, and there's also Out of the Woods. All of these are here as well. But there are several smaller scenarios, single one shots as opposed to collections. These books all have a variety of scenarios, about 4 or 5 each in these collections. But you can buy the individual books as well. If you are looking for a Trail of Cthulhu campaign, look no further than Eternal Lies, which is right here. And I have my special edition collection here. This is Trail of Cthulhu's answer to the Masks of Nyarlathotep. So this is a big globe-spanning adventure, completely original and has fantastic story, which I won't ruin here, but I will review someday, I hope. One other thing that's nice is that it also has here the complete Eternal Lies suite. So it has a full soundtrack going with it as well, which I think is great. I think you might be able to get it in a bundle on Pelgrane Press, but I'm not sure if that's still active. Aside from Trail of Cthulhu, there's also Cthulhu Confidential, which I have reviewed on this channel before, which is a one-on-one RPG. So that means one keeper, one rule keeper, and one player. And it is a gumshoe noir detective style RPG with Cthulhu, with mythos influences as well. If you enjoyed that, you might also be interested in Knights Black Agents solo ops. So I have Knights Black Agents here, which is a game about kind of a spy mystery thriller a la Jason Bourne. If you like that style of play, you might be interested in Knights Black Agents solo ops, which comes from Knights Black Agents, which I have here. This is a kind of a spy thriller like Jason Bourne, but it also has evil vampires. I haven't had the time to go through it so much yet, but in Dave Thomavore's review on it, he said there is excellent information on conspiracies and so much information that you could run this game without going into the vampires as well. So if you wanted to have a spy thriller game with potentially no super natural elements, this could be, I'm not entirely sure, but it could be right up your alley. But solo ops is a little bit different in that it goes to the one-on-one aspect similar to Cthulhu Confidential. So you'll have one keeper and one player having this spy mystery. These games, the solo op games, because they're a lot more detailed for one person and it's a little bit more rigid, there will be vampires, I'm sure. So you might not be able to avoid them in that. But, it's a vampire game, so you can't avoid all the vampires. Now we'll move on to Modiphius and Achtung Cthulhu. This is more along the lines of Pulp Cthulhu, and there is a lot of magic and a lot of mythos in this, where you will be fighting against Nazis and fighting against mythos creatures in and around World War II time period. Just be careful here as well. If you are new to this, you will probably want to get into the 2D20 version. This is the newest version and the one that they're currently releasing new releases for. So look for anything that has 2D20, and you're trying to avoid, if you want the new stuff anyway, you're trying to avoid something that says Fate Core, Savage Worlds. I think there's a Trail of Cthulhu one as well. So these are all 2D20, 2D20, 2D20. These are all the newest version. If you're looking to play, you will be needing the Game Master's Guide and optionally the Player's Guide as well. Now, I was very lucky to get the collector's edition, the Exarch collector's edition of this, which is a beautiful collection with, I don't know if you can see the gold pages and the gold inlay here, which is absolutely fantastic. And this combines both the Game Master's Guide and the Player's Guide in one tome. After getting that, there are a lot of shorter scenarios here. You'll know that all of the one-shot scenarios have this kind of metal background. So this is a short scenario, short scenario, short scenario, short scenario, short scenario. Whereas these ones are a little bit longer. The colored ones are a little bit longer, although this one is quite short as well. If you're looking for campaigns, then Shadows of Atlantis is really their flagship campaign. Serpents and the Sands is a new one, which I will probably pick up on sale because that's quite a nice price. Although the ratings look a little bit low, but I'll see how it is. Now, moving on to the big one, Chaosium and Call of Cthulhu. Of course, there are a lot of things here for the core rules and the supplements. I highly recommend, of course, the starter set is just the best starter set, in my opinion. But there's also things like the Grand Grimoire of Cthulhu Mythos Magic, which gives a lot of magic, a lot of the different spells. And then it has this great bestiary, which includes Mythos creatures and also all of the gods in two separate tomes. This is a very large two-book compendium. Down Darker Trails is an Old West cowboy setting with Cthulhu Mythos horror. A Time to Harvest is somewhere here. There it is. I think is a fantastic, easy campaign to get into, and it's good for new players and old players alike. And just one more campaign that I'll probably mention a few more, but is Beyond the Mountains of Madness. This acts as a sequel to Lovecraft's original At the Mountains of Madness story. And I think this is the most Lovecraftian of all the campaigns that are out there for Call of Cthulhu, certainly that I've looked through. It's a great read, even if you never actually get it to the table. The biggest campaign, the most well-known campaign for Call of Cthulhu is Masks of Nyarlathotep, and it is amazing. I think the best campaign that has ever been written, the best of anything that I've ever read. While Beyond the Mountains of Madness is maybe the most Lovecraftian campaign, the one that ties most closely to his writing, I think Masks of Nyarlathotep is so well written and developed, and there's a huge amount of support out there for keepers. Anyway, what I wanted to point out that this version is on sale and it's very cheap, but this is the newest version, the 7th edition one, and you can see it's quite expensive. Of course, you can absolutely play with this one, but it is not as fully developed or as well supported, I think, as the 7th edition. If I were going to buy it, I would save up and get the 7th. Well, I already have it, but I would get the 7th edition if I were you. It is huge, really well developed, very, very high quality. But of course, aside from Chaosium themselves, there is a huge amount of material available for Call of Cthulhu produced by excellent third party creators. Of course, I've recently been talking about Sgrozi, and a lot of their supplements are now on sale here. So I will be picking up some of the ones I don't already have. Another big creator for Call of Cthulhu stuff, a third party one, is Stygian Fox. and they have a lot of supplements for Cthulhu by Gaslight, which of course I love. That's on my list to be reviewed. You can see there's a lot of Gaslight scenarios, setting and scenario for Cthulhu by Gaslight. The best product that they've produced for Cthulhu by Gaslight is Hudson and Brand, which unfortunately is not on the sale, but it's definitely worth picking up if you have the money. But do have a look through the other stuff from Miskatonic Repository. So they all have this symbol down at the bottom, the Miskatonic Repository. That means that it's a third-party supplement. Someone has created that. A member of the community has created that. And by and large, the ones that I've seen have been really great. So check it out and see if it's up your alley. Good vibes only is very good. All right, so that is all for today. I just wanted to let you guys know about this great and pretty wide sale on cosmic horror supplements. If you've been considering getting something, why not get it at a discount? If you have any questions about this or you're wondering about them, just leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer. I will, of course, answer, but some of the supplements, I don't know. I don't know everything, unfortunately, but I'm happy to give my opinion on anything that I do know. All right, so that's going to do it for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.